Welcome to EDC Journeys. If you enjoy the video, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Enjoy! What is going on, EDC people? And what is our journey today? Well, as promised, we're going to talk about 440C and this particular guinea pig sacrificial lamb of a knife that I'm going to on to dull and then to sharpen. You see all my little setup here. I've got some knives out. You see my micarta work knife was in my pocket, so that came out. I'm trying to show you guys that copper on that Barlow. Look how much patina is forming on it. I've got to find a picture from the day I got it, which wasn't that long ago, and compare it to now. And I'm going to put it on Instagram sometime today. Talking about sharpening in steels, especially entry-level steels, I've been getting a lot of emails about, because right now I'm starting with 440C. A lot of people are like, you got to do D2, you got to do D2, because, it's become such a major budget stone, budget steel, especially coming out of China. But not only China, just in general. It went from being a steel that everyone wanted, give us D2, give us D2, to now it's like D2 overload, but that means that there's a lot of D2 knives out there, such as both of these. Now, understand, I'm not just a Ganzo guy, okay? But when I'm going to purposely dull my blade and on a brick and then sharpen it up, I want to use knives that are like cost efficient. Let's just say that, because even if I don't do well on this knife, and in the end I have a hard time sharpening it, I'm going to show you that because I want you to see that as a I don't know what to call myself. I'm not new to sharpening anymore. I can get a decent edge, but I'm certainly no pro and I'm not a teacher. I'm the guy that just recently suddenly got the ability to figure it out or whatever. So I want you to see if you're like me, a beginner, what the difficulty is in sharpening these steel types. Okay, so anyway, so D2 is coming. That's one of the next one of the next review knives. I've got tons of stuff on the project list going on right now, and I've got some people sending me some knives to loan me. I've got one guy sending me knives to keep, for the not for the channel mostly, but let's be honest, I'm obviously going to play with them. I've got another guy who's sending me some. I think I might have just said this, but he's lending me some. So that'll give me some more content. Of course, I can't really beat up lent stones, or I am not good with my words, but knives. When people lend me knives, I really am very cautious about what I cut because I don't like to really do anything bad to other people's knives. You've seen what I do to my knives when I get test knives to buy, such as this one, which I have handy all the time because I've been keeping it around my neck. When I tell you guys what I carry in my pockets, I always forget this is around my neck. And isn't that kind of the best EDC? The one that you forget about? That's this one. Uh, Anyways, my point is, I went out and purchased this with my money to bring it home and beat the living hell out of and bring it back to sharp. And that's what I did, and I showed you guys. See my videos on it. Now, if you hear anything in the background, you can see the beginning of my little laptop thing here. I don't want to change my angle because it's just right now, but I've got Neve's Knives live right now, sharpening in the background. First thing we got to do though is I'm going to pause the video, recircle the camera over to the brick, and you're gonna see me dull. Okay, let's see if my little headset line can even reach this far. I hope it can. Okay, here we go, guys. Oh god, this is gonna hurt my brain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? See that shine? That's where that's where basically the brick flattened to the apex, and that's why it no longer is cutting smoothly through things. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's now 10 swipes. 10 swipes on a brick. Oh my god! It actually. Oh no, that's tearing. Okay. I was like shocked for a second. I was like, oh my god. All it's doing is wedging into the paper and tearing. That's not cutting, okay? I think you all realize this at this point. It is dull. It is dull. It. Okay, I probably wouldn't do this. Do you see the white on my fingers? I'm pushing on it. Those lines aren't cuts. That's how hard I was pushing. Okay. I'll find the one spot that's sharp probably and rip my fingers off. And now I'm unpaused, and I'm going to use this to see if I raise this up as high as it can go. See, this is my workstation. You don't get to see the big mess I have over there, all the knives and the stuff and tools and anyways. They hate when I do that. Bag of popcorn or something because I'm going to do this until it's done, as long as it takes. Everyone seems to respond well to the actual long sharpening videos where you get to see how long a real person sharpens for, where it's not edited down and where you see me go shoop, 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 and then 5 seconds I have a sharp knife. So that's what we're doing. Stand by, get your popcorn, get your snacks, get a drink. That's what I'm doing. Okay, guys, I'm back. You see a stone change up here. You know, I'm going to take the opportunity while I'm doing at least 440C, if not some of the other stones or blades. I'm going to take the opportunity to really play with some stones that I never get to play with. You know, be it some little I've got this Norton stone that I have no idea that I still have yet to ever have. I mean, I've degreased them even though it doesn't look like it. I probably should have scrubbed this one better. But I've got no idea what this is really. If it's just silicon carbide, I don't know. I don't know what the grid is. So you might see me play around with some different stones during this. This is my opportunity to show some different stones off too, and maybe if you have one of those stones, it'll help you. But this, I decided to switch to the Smith's. I don't know. I think it's silicon carbide, but this is at like every hardware store in the world. So I imagine it's accessible like to 10 or 15 minutes in, and I haven't even started sharpening. Okay, here we go, guys. And I often hold it, especially this size. So I'm going to do that. So the first thing you do is find your angle. I've got to get used to this size holding it. Yeah. You just kind of get comfy with it at first. But when you first start sharpening, you've got one side to worry about it at a time. I need to take the steel off of the side, currently the side that's on the stone, obviously. I'm going to take the steel off of that side, and it will create a burr on the opposite side because the steel is going to curl over onto the top of what what you see now. And I'll show you when I get there. Now, one note about sharpening, if you want one real easy good tip, don't let your knife get to the point where you don't even have a bevel anymore. It's not impossible to fix. You can fix it, but man, is it that much harder. It's a lot easier. I just swiped this 10 times on a brick, and at least I still have kind of a place to, let me get a rag here. A place to, I'm using the, to go to. And I know he got it from someone else, but I call it the Jeff Jewell juice. It's like a mixture of Dawn and water. and some
When you
mineral
hold your
oil.
stone, a
Basically,
lot of times, a lot of the liquid lubricant or whatever oil comes off. So you have to be conscious of that. And just so you know, guys, I use my knives. I'm sure I'll get a knife at some point that I love so much that I won't use it really. But that having been said, I'm not looking for perfect, exact bevels on each side. I try my best, obviously, but I'm a shaky person. Like you can tell when I get to this point, when I really try to do a fine point, you can tell that I'm a little shaky. My hands shake. So don't feel like if you have these types of issues, you can't do anything about it. Why am I zoomed in? So all my point is hold the angle the best you can. There are many tricks to do it. The best one, if you like it on a bench, if you leave it on the bench, Jared from Knees Knives taught me about marking your fingers so that you always place your finger at the same spot of the knife using mark your finger with a pen. You put it at the same spot and every time, and if you do that every time, then really there should be no reason why you wouldn't be at the same angle every single time. A lot of people say lock your wrist. A lot of people say I don't lock my wrist. My suggestion, if you're just starting, is lock your wrist. Lock your wrist and lift with your elbow when you get to the end, to the tip. I said yesterday when I was reintroducing for the probably third time this series that a I am not a sharpening instructor. I'm not a professional sharpener. There are channels of people who are very, very good at sharpening, who can teach you, show you the exact right way to do everything. Jeff Jewell is the one I recommend the most as far as freehand sharpening goes. Uh, Rough Rooster knife sharpening, I recommend for people, especially if they're looking at natural stones. I'm just getting back into my natural stones. I started there, hated them for a while, and now that I've actually gotten better at sharpening, uh, I'm starting to like them again. So, if you're an Arkansas stone guy, check out Rough
now,
Rooster knife sharpening. Again, if you've watched my videos, you know that the reason I had to reintroduce this is edge retention. To do this the way I want to do this, I couldn't show you. If I went to that brick with a steel in 3V and a steel in 440C, it's not going to make a difference how many times. They're going to get dull on that brick equally. So edge retention is difficult to show. Now I have a burr. Let me get back to that thought. I have a
whatever
burr.
works for you.
That's the thing about sharpening. I'm checking my bevel right now, and I'm checking my burr. The second burr is usually easier to get already. Listen, I'm going to touch the heel up a little bit, but here I got a burr. A little bit more right there again. Same spots as before. Then I definitely have a burr again coming through here, which is surprising because usually the tip and the heel are always notorious for being difficult for anyone, uh, and especially me. But surprisingly, the tip, I'm doing the wrong side. Surprisingly, the tip was not so bad this time. Move your stones. Don't if you're uncomfortable sitting, stand. If you're uncomfortable standing, sit. Raise them, lower them. Find a spot that's comfortable for you, where you can stand. And I'll tell you, filming it, there's really no great way to be comfortable. So, it's absolutely uncomfortable to do this right now. But when you're really doing it for yourself, find a position that you can hold and repeat.
The whole name of the game is hold the angle and pull across the stone. That's all you have to do. The stone will sharpen it. The knife will be the tool. Your angle is all you have to worry about. My suggestion would be don't use pressure. Use only the pressure you need to hold the angle and get the knife on the stone. In fact, the less pressure on most cases, the better. Especially when we're talking about diamond stones. The diamonds will do a great job for you, but if you start using, like, God, it's like a hurricane here. Everything's blown away. If you use too much pressure on a diamond stone, not only will you chew through a knife, the steel, you will rip off the diamonds. The adhesive that holds those diamonds on, it's not like these stones that wear down and have new abrasive. Once you wear through those diamonds, one of my biggest problems when I started. I would go into it knowing that I shouldn't use pressure, and then halfway through find myself bearing down on it. All I was doing was dishing my stone and ruining the edge more. Okay, I have a burr built up all the way up on the other side. So now once again, on this side, I've taken away the steel, taken away the burr, and then I've removed enough steel to curl it around to this side, and I have a burr. So now the name of the game is 1, remove the burr. Shouldn't take much. Yeah, for the most part, that's it. The burr's off. Okay, now you stay on that low grit stone, and what I do, and there's all different ways to do it, guys, remember that, is I go back and forth, one way and then the other, because I no longer need to remove heavy amounts of steel. Now I want to form the teeth, or the grit, I guess, pattern on the bevel. I want to hone the edge and cause that apex to get closer and closer together. Think of the V. I may have got, where am I here? I may have, what am I trying to say? This is a perfect bevel, let's say, okay, a V bevel. You sharpen this side, and it causes a burr to curl up on this. Then you do the opposite, and you freshen it up, and it causes a burr on this side. Then you remove it, and you're like, this, jagged. From now you're trying to finally retune it and hone it up one side at a time, and then once you get the perfect grit pattern on that stone, you start to move up, and it can cut. It should be sharp on the dullest stone you use. It should be able to cut. Then you move to the next stone and continue. And what you're doing is no longer, in most cases, no longer sharpening / removing metal. You're regraining the bevel. That V. You're making that either smoother, or you're getting it to the grit. I'm getting oil all over my fingers. You're making it more refined and smooth and sharp in a way. At this point, you stay on the same grit, and this actually kind of, in a way, for me, becomes one of the more difficult parts, because you're no longer, when you're on the same side, it's kind of, you get into a rhythm and you can hold that angle pretty well. When you have to swap sides every time, you need to find your angle every time, because you can do it all you want, but if you do a different angle every time you pull across the stone, guess what? You're not really doing much. Now, the feedback I get, guys, is that you guys pretty much, for the most part, like the longer videos of me sharpening, where you see the whole thing to realize just how easy or hard it is for a newbie to sharpen. If that's not true, though, tell me. Would you rather me edit out crap so that this is just a quick video and you can see that it gets sharp? Or do you actually want to see me go through and have the struggles I have, because I promise you I will? Or what? Let me know, because I get a lot of great video comments, and that's nice, and I love that. Believe me, it makes me feel good, and makes me motivated to make another video. But if you aren't gonna watch a 45-minute sharpening video because it's too long and would rather it be 15 minutes of and highly edited where you just see me dull it and go maybe from one part of sharpening to the next real quick, edit out all the bull crap. Let me know that. I can do that. In fact, it's easier. Give me some feedback. I won't take it
Technical before you
negatively.
start.
Okay, so I can see, let me zoom in. I'm getting oil all over the phone. I can see, I don't know if you can see it though. You know what? Hang on
Okay,
a second.
guys, I'm gonna do something. I'm putting a loop to the camera on the phone, and I don't know how well this is gonna show, but I'm trying to show you the teeth, the grain pattern on the bevel. If I can get it to focus just right, I want you to see how it's angled. Kind of angled in the way that I sharpened. It's not straight up and down like the factory would be, off a belt. I can't get this to focus just right. See? Do you see that in the bottom left corner? See how it's like angled this way? That's what I want because this is the loop I'm trying to hold up to the phone. Um, I want my teeth kind of angled this way. Not terribly, but a little bit because when I cut through something, I want to I want it to bite in and cut. Um, while I'm doing this, another thing you can do to remove a burr or make sure your burr is removed is draw your blade through a piece of wood like this, just lightly, and I'd not try to hit the pan afterwards. Um, and there are people who argue whether that's a good idea or all right.
not because it tears the
Where
burr
am
off.
I?
Let's see how sharp we are off of where we're at. I'm not sure exactly how long I've been doing this, so this is kind of a crappy piece of paper, but we're guys, we're pretty sharp already. Yeah, is it toothy? Yeah, but uh, it cuts. Do you remember when it wouldn't? That's cutting. So I'm gonna
Alright,
move
guys,
on.
I told you that I was gonna play around with some different stones just for fun. I'm gonna just use this for a second
And just kind of see what it feels like. This is very awkward. An awkward size. What kind of questions do you guys have about 440C? It's a very mysterious steel nowadays. People think that because you can get it for so cheap, it's got to be a terrible steel. Well, it depends. It depends on what you do with your knife. If you're if you're looking to work in a factory all day and cut straps, and yeah, it may not hold the edge like that. And at the end of this I'm going to go. Oh, I remember I was going to talk about Outpost 76. That's what I was. Outpost 76. He's the guy who I'm basically oh my goodness, I'm basically partnering with. He's a good guy. We've become friendly. We talk often. He's a genius with steel testing and types and edge retention and toughness and that kind of stuff. He's got a running, working, uh, basically chart that he does, and I think he does it in collaboration with people like Super Steel Steve and others. Those are the only names really I know, but it's only Outpost 76 that I have really become friends with. So, and that's not because of any reason other than that's just who I've talked to first. Anyways, so I'm going to use his stuff at the end of this video to tell you about the edge retention, the toughness of 440C. That way, that covers those topics. That's what I was kind of talking about yesterday with the reintroduction. I can't. That stuff's already taken care of. I'll relay it to you using them, and I will give them full credit for doing all that work and all the record keeping. But I might as well just tell you the exact information versus try to make it
Okay.
some other.
Go for it.
Sorry, I got Jeff Jewell juice all over my. I just realized how inappropriate that sounds. Okay, never mind. I got the lubrication all over my phone screen, so it was very difficult to use to zoom or anything. Well, it's sharp, guys. I mean, you could go to work with this right now. I'm telling you. The reason I keep drawing it through the wood is just to make sure that I have absolutely no burr as I'm showing you. I normally don't do that. I usually do it on the stones, but I'm trying to keep this as uncomplicated and quick as possible. Now, what I'm looking at, and the reason why I keep looking closely at the blade, is I want the grit pattern to be the same all the way through the bevel on both sides. I don't want it to be, straight in one place, angled in another. And for the most part, it looks like it's doing a good job. But it is time to move on to another stone. I'm going to pause you again, choose a stone, and
Alright,
we'll get
guys.
going. I'm choosing to move on to a stone that's still kind of coarse, Norton Crystal on the coarse side. Why? Because I want to continue to build the teeth, the green, and I think that doing it on this stone, I feel like this is a slight bit finer than that Smith stone, and because of the size, I might be able to get a little bit of a better job on getting the entire blade to take the here or the entire stone to take the blade at that angle. You know what I'm saying? Can you see this? Yes, you can. I gotta remember, I'm trying not to make another burr. Can't go too many times on one side. Sometimes I do two or three, and then two or three, but I never go too many more than that because I'm trying not to redevelop a burr. If you do, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. What do? You remove the burr and continue. And guess what, guys? It's okay if you make a mistake to back up. Go back to a lower stone. Maybe I'll have to do that on this. We'll see. I might mess this up so bad that I'm gonna have to go back to a different stone. I'm hoping I don't have to, but if I don't, or if I did, it's okay. I'm not gonna stay long on this grit because I feel like it's very similar to the Smiths. I'm just trying to get a little bit better um, uniform teething. Did I make it worse? No. Okay, that's always a good question. You know what? Let's just flip it over to the fine side. Let's see what happens. Now, I'm not going to go too high with this as far as grit. I could go, well, I couldn't because I don't have the stones, but you could go up to 30,000. I think Shapton has a 30,000 out there. And there are certain knives and certain uses for that. Your EDC knife is typically not one of them, okay? You're going to end up having your blade will be sharp. It'll be sharp as hell. It'll slice paper. It'll slice very well, but it won't have any teeth. It'll just glide across stuff. You'll go to cut a plastic strap or a zip tie, and it'll just slide across. After all the work you did to get up to 30,000 grit and get this perfect mirror polish, you'll get you'll get
Alright,
you won't get
guys.
the results
Had
you
to
want.
take a quick break because my back was killing me. I already have a bad back, and again, trying to film sharpening is the worst as far as angles are concerned. Um, this is a soft Arkansas stone. It is a vintage Smith. And when I say vintage, I mean I don't know if it's from the 70s or what. I have no idea when it's from, but it's not new. My father gave it to me. It was his, so it's at least from the 70s, if not a little earlier. It's a 4-inch stone.
I love this size because this is exactly the way that I would like to sharpen in hand. It could be a touch bigger, and that would be great. But anyway,
I'm good.
so because this has been degreased and I have not used oil on it, I am trying to use just this Dawn solution for now, just to see. I want to see what the difference is like because I love this stone with the honing solution, but I don't want to have to buy anything if I don't
Moved
have
on
to.
to the soft natural Arkansas from Smith. Love this stone. I know I've said that 1,000 times in all my videos and this video too. It's actually for a soft Arkansas. I think it's been conditioned to be a very high grit. It is very smooth. Either that or it's just naturally very dense and smooth. I'm not sure. This may have been a little bit of a jump to go to, but we're gonna just see what happens. You know, that's what this is about. This is about using what we have, you know, as a beginner. And I don't have 8,000
Do you guys
choices.
like
I
holding your
have.
stone? For you people who do sharpen already, do you like holding your stone, or do you prefer it always be down and clamped in one of those, you know, bench stone holders or whatever? Um, you know, and there are times I do like prefer that. I'll bring up you know, like a kitchen knife. Yeah, I usually don't hold the stone for a kitchen knife, a big long kitchen knife. I like it on a locked in bench stone for sure. Anything that I'm like really trying to make a perfect edge on, such as that Yanagaba, I definitely don't hold the stone for that. But when it comes to like an EDC knife like this, a knife that I just don't really, it's not that I don't care about it because I love every knife I have, but it's just, it's just, an, I don't know what to say what I'm saying. It's just a knife, a regular a tool that I want to get sharp. I like holding it. I feel like I can control my pressure better. I can actually move the stone with my hand to hit that tip better. I don't know if you can see that, but that's how I do it. I know a lot of people have questioned. When I say a lot of people, I Instagram message and email with quite a few people who watch the channel, and I hope they all subscribed. Um, I just lost my train of thought completely. Yes, I am one of those people. I can't do two things at once. I cannot walk and chew gum at the same time. My mouth goes faster than my brain. I say stuff before I know what I'm saying. I always say the wrong word. Like I'll be meaning to say flipper tab and I'll say thumb stud. I'll mean to say scale and I'll say liner. Uh, all that's just a typical. That's just me. Okay, neighbor's honking in his horn. I just heard him. He pulled in and honked the horn. His kid and I think his wife were sitting like right there, and he pulls in and honks the horn I was just gonna say as loud as he could, but how loud? I mean, you can only honk it as loud as he honked it, and it scared the living hell out of them. And he got out and said, "I couldn't help myself." And she goes, "Too loud." Oh, the joys of family. How do you guys like the interviews with my daughter? She's dying. She's 10 years old. She's dying to start her own channel. She wants to do one on gaming. And I know that another knife YouTuber, the Knife Whisperer, if you don't know him, check him out. He's a cool guy. We've been talking. Um, he's like pretty much the same. I think his birthday is October 11th. Mine is October 12th. And I believe he's 1 year older than me. So he's a year and a day, I think, older than me. But, anyways, he's a really good guy. Definitely has some interesting videos. Blessed by a few of you, several of you, loaning me knives, even giving me knives. Really blessed. Like more than you, more than I ever more than I ever could have asked for. I did at one point ask people to send, if you have a knife that you want to send in, meaning that I would send it back. Um, you know, do so because it gives me more content, gives me another knife to put on the channel. So I've gone that far. Completely blessed by people who I've said that word now about 20 times, but who have, um, I think, kind of read out the situation and or felt out, felt my problems through the YouTube ness, and once again lost my train of thought. All I know is that I have people that send me knives for to lend me. A couple that have actually bought me knives or given me knives rather. Um, Chris Wolf, uh, who I referred to the other day as my brother from another mother. He saw that I really wanted a knife, and it wasn't any super high end thing, but I think it's like a BW custom, and it's a traditional style slip joint knife, but it's got a clover on it. And if you're new to the channel, then you don't know yet, but I am nuts for shamrocks and stuff, four leaf clovers and shamrocks. It's all over my body. Uh, I don't know. It's just my thing. I have Celtic heritage, and I've just fallen in love with it. And anyways, that knife has a clover on it. It's called, I think, the clover knife. If you go to I think it's Blade HQ. No, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, SMKW. You can just type in clover and look for the one that's got the filing on the back. You know, it, I'll drop a picture in if I can remember. Before this happened was Chris Wolf buying me the clover knife. He didn't need to do that. He did it out of the kindness of his heart. He knew that I was willing to trade somebody for it, and he went and just bought it instead, and it's on its way. And there's many people who have helped me like that. Some of which have asked not to be identified, or I don't know if they want to be identified. So I'm not going to say any of their names, but I will say his name because I speak to him daily. He's becoming a good friend, virtual friend of mine, and and not just because he bought me something, but the fact that he would do that is just it's very humbling. And as someone once said, what was the quote? Humans are not meant to be humble, or were not designed to be humble. Humans were designed to be humbled.
I don't know if anyone knows who said that without Googling it, but it's a very controversial person. Someone who I really actually, for his, how do I say this? For the reasons that he's famous, for the reasons that he's famous, I really respect and look up to him. Well, not necessarily look up to him, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. We're talking about Mike Tyson. Okay, he's been back in the news lately because he's doing an exhibition fight with Roy Jones Jr.
This is hardwood sheet of stone, and I love it. And it might be too fine. It is cutting very fine right now. I'm going to continue to hone it down on this stone, but okay. I'm going to pause this because I know it's getting long, and I'm going to keep going on this stone for a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, my friends, I have gone through and spent some time on this stone just to save some video time, doing the same exact motions I was doing before, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I just realized I was getting way off topic with my shooting the crap with you, and I should probably just stop and continue since it's just the same stone and just the same movements. Okay, so this is the knife right now.
Okay, you can tell my bevels aren't perfect. I haven't stropped it yet. See that grit? See those teeth? See how it still kind of goes in the direction I was trying to tell you? And it does that all the way down for the most part. I could have worked a little harder at removing the straight ones. Trying to keep it there. Yeah, okay. Removing the straight ones and putting mine in. But in whatever. It is very sharp. Um, can I reach it with this? Yes, I can. This is my very dirty strop. Dirty meaning I need to take the old compound off of it really soon and reapply some new white compound. In fact, maybe that'll be the project I do after this. Maybe I'll make a video on how to clean your strop. The way I clean my strop anyways. This is rolled buffalo leather. It is not exactly cheap. It's when I was first starting, I really thought I needed this high-end stuff. It's very smooth. Excuse me, smooth leather. I actually, I've got mixed feelings on if I like it or not. It's, I really like the ones I see on YouTube. People from, I think it's like DLT Trading does a double-sided, like paddle strap. I haven't ever used one, so I'm not necessarily endorsing it, but for the price and for what you get, I think that might be a good option for someone who doesn't have one yet. There's tons and tons and tons of strops on eBay, some that are loaded already, some that are not. If I can remember, I can throw some links down in the description. And I'm not even remotely close to big enough to be some kind of an affiliate of eBay, so I don't make anything off of you clicking on my links. So you could just as easily go to, did I say eBay? Go to Amazon and search. But I will try if I remember to put some links in the description for strops. This particular strop rolled, it's buffalo, like I said, versus just regular cowhide. Um, it's rolled, meaning that it's supposed to be harder. Really, I think that just makes it smooth. It is hard, but it's not. And when I say hard, I mean like the compression of the leather, and you're not going to really be able to see it on the camera because it's just it's a. I think that I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't think this was the right one for me at the time, but that's okay. Either that or I just am very bad at stropping. Outpost 76 has been trying to teach me how to strop for a while now, so maybe it's just me. Because when you're on that bevel, it should, as he says, it should feel like you're just going across glass. And if you go too low, it's not going to hurt anything. You're just wasting your time. If you go too high, that's when you can actually, at the very last stage, meaning stropping, very last stage of sharpening, you can actually kind of destroy your edge, because you will be stropping on the apex. You want to strop on the bevel right up to the apex, not on the apex. If that makes any sense. Am I on camera? Kind of. And I know people, there's a lot of people that go really fast, but I am not one of those people. Ever since he told me that it should feel like glass, I've noticed the difference in smoothness when I'm on the bevel or not. And I am definitely the guy who would go through the sharpening phase, all the stones, and then ruin my edge stropping. So I really, really try to be careful. Okay, whatever. I can strop it up more if I want to. We already know it's sharp. It's probably sharper than it was when we started. Um, the edge looks, from here looks pretty sharp, I think, and just in general. Without zooming in with microscopes, someone who just takes a okay, whatever that noise was, someone who just takes a look at the edge, it's shiny. It looks sharp, I think. Okay, well, shall we see the final results? If this wind would work with me, I could just hold this paper straight. That'd be great. Paper's not really strong enough for me to hold to do the. Maybe it's either that or my knife's not sharp enough. But like do one of those S cuts. I can do the corner, but when it comes to here, the paper just bends. Anyways, the knife is now sharp, guys. Oops. What do you think? How do you think I did? What do you think of the 440C? I'm going to come back and show you some information on, the specifics of the edge retention and hardness. Like I told you, I will get that information from Outpost 76. You can also get that information from Outpost 76. He has in his descriptions of most of his videos a link to the chart that he continues to update, I believe, in partnership with other people, but regardless, he's the man that's helping me with it, so that he's the one I'm talking about right now. If you like the scientific stuff of it, check out his channel. If you're not sub to it, I mean, he's got far more than I do, but if you're sub to me and not him, go sub to him if you like that stuff. He's a good guy. He's really smart, really good at knives, and I'm sorry this video is so long, but I'm seeing it's reaching 10 minutes for this clip again, so I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I hope you enjoyed watching me sharpen 440C. I dulled it on that brick. 10 swipes on the brick made it dull. I sharpened it back to razor sharp. Let's just verify that, and then that'll be the last thing I do. Let me go find where I have any hair left that I haven't tested a blade with. 440C, guys. It's an underrated steel. It can go high in grit if you want to. It doesn't have to, but it's a budget steel. You should be able to find 440C at a good price. the knife that we are doing right now is, there we go. Don't blow wind, don't blow wind, don't blow wind. And I think hair after it's been cut off is gross, so it's gone. Yeah, so if, what was I saying? I don't know. 440C, budget steel. This knife here is $19. I guarantee you that it will get you through your day's work, unless you are the type of person who needs a tougher knife. And if you do, we'll get to you. But it's not a bad steel. It was once a super steel, and there's a reason so many people still use it. And there's a reason why I could use a cheap Smith stone, 3 seconds on a Crystalon, a few minutes on a, the most expensive stone I used was my Washita, but that you don't need that to do this. Anything around 8 to 1200 grit, 1000 grit would probably be ideal for this. For an EDC knife, you could go higher though. With 440C, that's one of the steels that can take a sharper grit or a higher grit. Here's I'll get back to you with the rest of it as far as the specs go, but 440C I like a lot, and as far as corrosion resistance goes, it beats out tool steel like D2, period. So we're gonna get to D2 sharpening and all that, but 440C's corrosion resistance beats D2. Just saying. All right. Next thing you'll see is some specs, maybe some charts, whatever I figure out to put in. Sorry it's so long. Hope you enjoyed. Hey, thanks for watching my review of 440C. If you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up. For more content like this, consider subscribing and then hitting that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Have a great day, guys. Also want to provide a special thank you to Outpost 76 for allowing me to use his material and content regarding 440C and the scientific stuff like edge retention and toughness.